on the way.
Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. This is episode 27 of Reworking the Lot, a series that I started back in August of 2021 to chronicle the production as well as the ultimate release of the third adaptation of Stephen King's novel Salem's Lot, his second novel. This is a film that I thought was never going to see the light of day at a couple of points because it has been pretty much shelved by Warner Brothers since they did those test screenings back in September of 2022. So I thought the movie was eventually going to be, as people have said, Batgirl. I thought it was going to be, as a tax write-off. We would never see it. And then slowly things started to happen, and in August and earlier this month, we started seeing some things. We started seeing stills. We got a small clip. We got a trailer. It is going to be debuting officially on Max here in the United States on October the 3rd. And then overseas, it's supposed to be appearing in theaters on October the 11th. And I was lucky. I was able to get a screener copy of this film a week before it debuted. I want to say a special thanks to my friend Critical Overlord for making me aware of this. It was pretty surreal to sit down today and watch this. Now, I've watched it several times. This will be a very spoiler-free overview of the film. I'm going to talk about the things I liked about it, the things I didn't like about it, and I will be 100% honest with everyone. First, I want to give an overview on the film and talk about the cast and crew. Author Ben Mears returns to his childhood home of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration for his next book, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a bloodthirsty vampire. Movie stars Lewis Pullman as Ben Mears, Pilo Asbeek as Richard Straker, Spencer Treat Clark as Mike Ryerson, Alexander Ward as Kurt Barlow, Bill Camp as Matthew Burke, Mackenzie Lee as Susan Norton, Alfre Woodard as Dr. Cody, Nicholas Corvetti as Danny Glick, John Benjamin Hickey as Father Callahan, Danielle Perry as Marjorie Glick, and Jordan Preston Carter as Mark Petrie. Screenplay for the film was done by Gary Dauberman, of course, based on the book by Stephen King, and the movie was also directed by Gary Dauberman. I really liked it, and again, I've watched this movie 3 times. I have that screener. I've watched it 3 times, and I think there's so many things about this film that work so beautifully. I do think Lewis Pullman does an admirable job as Ben Mears. Mackenzie Lee, I had no problem with her. I thought her and Lewis Pullman had a terrific chemistry. She did a great job as Susan Norton. I'm curious to see what other people think about this, but I really thought their relationship was believable. I thought they had a cute little flirtation going back and forth. Also, the way that they meet is different, and I actually thought it worked really well. I think the big standout in this film is the one that received a lot of controversy for some reason, and that is Jordan Preston Carter, who plays Mark Petrie. He was absolutely my favorite actor in this film. He is awesome. That kid just did an amazing job of playing that character. Pilo Asbeek, I think, did a great job as Richard Straker as well. And while he brings his own sort of flavor to that character, I did feel a few callbacks to what James Mason did with the role as well. And I will say that Alexander Ward is Barlow in this film, and it is pretty much an homage to Reggie Nalder's performance in the 79 miniseries, with a couple of there's a couple of touches to it that are different. And I felt like the character was utilized perfectly. The other thing I really loved about this film was the atmosphere. Very creepy, especially the night scenes where there's a lot of fog. And I thought the vampire effects were really well done. Of course, they have more computer-generated imagery in this than we had with the 79 film. But I thought it worked. There were a couple moments where it appeared very, CGI-ish, but some of the elements just really worked. Like the glowing eyes really worked. The scene where Danny's outside of Mark's bedroom, I thought was really effective. There's one scene where Mark is going into this like treehouse, and he's trying to sort of close all the doors and windows to it, and there's these kid vampires that are outside of it. It was really effective and really well done. Another great scene is when Ralphie Glick is taken in the woods. The way that scene is done is so beautiful and eerie. I thought that was just absolutely brilliant. Another scene is Marjorie Glick in the funeral parlor. That scene is really well done. There's a lot of little things that are peppered throughout this film, and I don't know if it was James Wan's influence, but I'm assuming it was, that paid tribute to that 79 miniseries. It might be a line, it might be a prop, but it's not overt, and I thought it was executed brilliantly. brilliantly. The conclusion for this movie is absolutely fantastic. I loved it, and I wanted it to be longer. It was that good. It was different, and it worked. And that's what I want to see. If you're going to remake something, I want to see changes. I don't want to see the same film that I've seen. I think if this movie would have been maybe another half an hour longer, you would have they probably would have been able to establish more of the townspeople. There's some that we're familiar with from the other adaptations that we've gotten that might just spring up here and there. You might see them once, you might hear about them, you might not really, even get to know the character very well, or they might just serve their purpose for a scare scene, or to set up them becoming a vampire, and not really have a lot of exposition to who they are. That's just what happens when you're adapting something where you have a multitude of characters and you're trying to sort of condense it down into this 2-hour runtime. So that was something against the film. Also, there was a couple of characters I didn't think were as strong as they could have been. For all the hype surrounding William Sadler, I didn't really care for the way that he portrayed Parkins Gillespie. Nothing against the actor, but anybody could have played that role. There was nothing really special that he brought to it. Same thing can be said for John Benjamin Hickey, who played Father Callahan. I wasn't crazy about the way that he depicted that character. With the exception of a couple of little things that didn't really work so well for me, I think this was very successful, and it just sort of perplexes me why this film is being treated the way it is, why it's being sort of just shoved onto streaming on Max. It is getting theatrical runs in Europe, but in a year where we've seen some pretty crappy movies hit theaters, this movie does not deserve the treatment that it's getting. And I know that some of these early reviews are just saying, oh, this movie must suck because it's been sitting on a shelf for 2 years. And from everything that I understand about the industry, it had nothing to do with the quality of the film and more to do with the change of the guard at Warner Brothers. So yeah, I think this movie was worth the wait. I don't understand what the studios are doing anymore. I think they make horrible decisions, and I think this is one of the biggest blunders in film history that I can think of, in terms of how shitty a studio treated a well-known property done by one of the greatest writers of all time, and a movie that fans have been clamoring for to see. Just how they treated the fans, how they treated the filmmakers, and the cast just really, really upsets me. I'm glad this film is finally out and people can watch it and judge for themselves, instead of all of these rumors about why it wasn't getting released and all of the horrible blame that was put on Gary Dauberman. It's not his fault that he was treated like this. It all comes down to poor decisions at Warner Brothers, in my opinion. But yeah, the movie worked for me. I enjoyed it. There were a couple things that I didn't like, but at the same time, I'm willing to sort of just, they weren't perfect for me, but so what? I was literally like a little kid watching this. It really brought me back to my Fruity Pebbles cereal Saturday mornings at my dad's house, watching that VHS copy of Salem's Lot the movie. I was excited, I was scared, and it was just a thrilling time watching this film that I've been chronicling and following for so long. To finally be able to watch it, it was very cathartic. It was very moving, because it just brought me back to the actors that created that original film that are no longer here. Now we have these new actors that are portraying these characters, and they're bringing them to a new audience, so they're living on, and that made me very happy. And I can't say enough great things about it. I do want everybody to go out and give it a chance. Check it out when it debuts on Max if you're here in the States. Going to debut on October 3rd, and it's going to be debuting in Europe in cinemas on October the 11th. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone's doing well, and I promise I will talk to you again real soon. Take it easy, stay scared as always, and remember, you can do nothing against the master. Peace. Hey, my fellow Fright Fiends, I just want to thank everyone for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. If you haven't yet subscribed and you'd like to, please hit the subscribe button down below. Click the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a video at least once or twice a week. The Horror Zone is a passion of mine, and it really makes me happy that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.